it's different because you're very conscious that everything you say is ultimately takes the most effect. So you can always give information as a coach, knowing that you're backing up the manager. But when it's you that's the figurehead, and then whatever you say is going to be taken literally, as in the point of the players you want them to implement, it's about understanding the messages you put across and why you're putting them across. I just remember having a real understanding desire to make sure that we moved on and kicked on and carried on with the messages we were continuing, and just wanted to make sure the lads were as stimulated as possible, knowing that we'd lost a very good manager and good people who'd obviously helped bring them all in and stuff. And I wanted to make sure that lads felt like nothing was going to change in terms of the momentum of the club and the way we went about things. And yeah, that was our biggest takeaway on the day, is just to try and get some normality back and get the lads playing football and realising that ultimately it's their talents that have got us to this point on the pitch. Yeah, I remember the first 5-10 minutes of the game I felt really awkward standing at the front of the dugout. Not really sort of sure what to do with myself because it is a new experience. But no, I remember being nervous, not going to lie, I was a bit nervous about it all. But then when we got there and just being around the boys, it sort of settled down. Then obviously the start of the game, going 2-0 down after 10 minutes is probably the worst start you could probably ask for in sort of what, if you'd call it, a managerial career. And you know what, it was sort of probably a defining moment for me, because I thought we played really, really well, and I thought ultimately that Rochdale only had 2 opportunities which they scored from. And I thought we dominated the game from start to finish, first and second half. That gave me a lot of faith in realising that you don't have to change too much as long as you oversee the overall picture that things are going well and that you can be happy with the way the lads are playing. And just learning that you have to have faith in the lads and patience and understanding that they will get it right over 90 minutes. They they cared about me, Louis, Mags, and they weren't, not once did we see that they'd have any effect from the fact that we was changing management and Mike and that left. So no, it was a lot of learning that night, but it was a really pleasing way to end it, because I think it finished on a real good positive.
I mean, before the game, I think fans, from what I can remember, were chanting you on in the stands.
Yeah, it was really
how nice is that when you go and over at the end and you, I suppose, get a bit of appreciation, because you probably even weren't sure how you would be perceived from an outside point of view.
Yeah, it's exactly that, mate, and I think it was brilliant. But I think it was more just sort of epitomises the club that we're all in it together. I think there's probably an understanding that this was my first sort of step into sort of new waters, and all I can say is the support around me was amazing. Me and Louis and Mags and that, we felt like everyone had our backs, and that we ultimately, I think people knew that we'd give everything we could, and we'd want the best for the club and try and do the right thing, and yeah. Good skip through Fylde and Yeovil, yeah. Skipping back, we lost 4-0 at home to Fylde in a game where we completely dominated the ball and the possession. And then Yeovil, we went away, and that's probably the first and only time I've lost my temper with the lads that I'm aware of, is because I just felt that there was a little slip in who we are and how we went about things. And when it come to the week after coming into this Dorking game, was me and Louis sitting there and really saying this, we need to put our personality on this, because when you've lost your first 3 games or whatever it was, I can't remember now, you think, well, if this isn't going to work out for any reason, I want it to not work out on our own terms, on my own terms, and that's where we really implemented a few different things in terms of the energy, the running forward, moving the ball quicker around the back in terms of playing around to play through, to play forward, and just saying to the lads that I want to see them express themselves in a way when they get on the ball. And yeah, I think the Dorking game, everything we asked them come together, and I think it sort of was like a nice clear start for us, as it was like an understanding that things can tweak and can change, because that's football, that's life. But if these boys buy into it and they buy into what we're trying to do for them in terms of myself and Louis and Mags at the time, that they can get the rewards. And it was just such a brilliant day. Obviously we had another one later on in the season in terms of emphatic wins, but yeah, it was really important for me, because it showed that when you're questioning yourself over the decisions you're making and the type of football you're trying to play, when you see it come off in such a fantastic way, was probably was when we didn't look back. Football can be brilliant at times, but it can be cruel, and to lose 5 of the best players in the league, Ed through injury, I think it was Billy, Lofty, Werney, Archie, along with Greg being sidelined, Tinks being sidelined. I think we literally did get a team together in 2 days for this game. But the one thing I saw was the understanding of who we are and what we're about. And there was a bit of frustration there. You can see the lads lost a bit of hope because they thought, oh, is this it? Unravelling. But when we looked at the stats weren't that bad. You know, we had 50% possession with Chesterfield, which sort of showed that when it comes to the football and the structure that we were able to match them. But when it comes to the quality in terms of like what they were last year, they were incredible. And then you take into consideration that Stotty, Beachy's, a lot of players' first games for a while. There's another sort of fork in the road. You know, we lost that. We was losing more and more of what had got Gateshead to that point in terms of the players and identity, and because they were leaving for positive reasons. You know, players move on and go higher, and that's great. It probably defined sort of the next 4 or 5 months of me and Louis. We had to double down and we now need to replace players. You know, it's now up to us to replace players. And what sort of profiles, what sort of players do we want to place them with, and what sort of players do we want to bring in. Yeah, so it was a really stressful 2-3 weeks. But I think we went to Dorking, and I think everyone thought like the world had collapsed and that was Gateshead done, but it was only 2 games. And yeah, this Chesterfield game was another example of it, but probably a real pivotal moment because it was probably the one single moment where the team and the squad become more mine and Louis' and moving away from where it was previously, and that was important. And in terms of who we recruited, why we recruited them, and how we move forward. This is what a way to put right all the things that happened. I think we slowly saw that we were growing back into the role, and we were growing back in as individuals and as a club. And I think this was probably a period where I felt like I started to see a different side to the squad and the team in terms of that desire to want to do the ugly stuff really well. Have that graft and grit to defend our box and to be okay with the team having the ball as long as they had the ball in the right areas and doing the things that we needed to do. But ultimately it comes down to the man on my screen at the moment, and the person who played the ball through to him. You know, Evo, Kane, DeJean, you know what big impact he had. It is the players that come in that impacted the squad and the way they impacted it. I didn't care that we won the game against Barnet, if I'm being honest. What I cared about is the way we went about it. We knew we was lacking in certain areas and we didn't quite have the fluidity that we normally have. But the lads showed a different type of their mentality, and that was probably one of the proudest things I've had. Again, it comes down to mentality, doesn't it? And I think like we can talk about the football we play and some of the brilliant goals that we score, but for me the mentality of this game was absolutely brilliant. One, the way we reacted to setback, which we've done multiple times against top teams, but 2, the relentless nature of our play in terms of our positioning, the way the players ran forward, they stayed forward, they moved the ball quickly, they moved the ball into tight areas and were brave. And then the biggest thing was, it's great having all this possession, it's great having the ball, having these lovely patterns of play. But if you don't affect the goal, you don't get shots off, you don't get the ball in the box, or you don't, put numbers forward, then it becomes a bit irrelevant, and teams can be quite happy with us sitting in front having the ball. Seeing Louis' story there, our right side centre half driving at their back line and combination play and balls in the box. It's perfect for me because all that play that you see a fantastic goal there, but if you probably fast forwarded that goal, which I think we did, we kept the ball for about a minute, but we kept it with intent to try and score. And I think this game just come again after a lot of work for a period of time on how we're going to affect the goal even more, how we're going to, be more ruthless in the box. Just come off showing the lads who watched a lot of Liverpool, Arsenal, City, even Leverkusen, which are the in teams, but you watch the best teams and why are they best teams, and they put the ball in the box, they affect the goal, they get numbers in the box and they score goals, and they don't all have to be pretty. Obviously when the result comes off the way it does and we score obviously 7 and against our rivals and whatnot, it's brilliant, but it doesn't come without risk. It's about how much risk you want to take. We're going to back him, and we're going to back his ability to do that and not get frustrated, and the next time we get the ball we'll just go again. So yeah, it's just a brilliant night. I think it's quite obvious to say, we didn't get our day in the sun in terms of the playoffs. So the only way to counteract that is to show everyone not how good we are, because every team here is good. Solihull probably one of my favourite teams. I think they're brilliant. We have so many good games against them. I think it's more a case of showcasing why we finished where we did. You know, we felt a bit hard done by our league position because of the fixture congestion at the end of the season. I just wanted to see that display of football that we've shown all year and all season, and and use a bit of that pain, use a bit of that frustration from the playoffs, as a bit of incentive to show, well, if we'd have been in the playoffs, we'd have hopefully had a good chance of doing something. I think the whole day was just a great representation of the club and where it was in terms, or where it is, sorry, in terms of all them difficult moments. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what. And I thought the goals we scored were brilliant goals, and I thought we could have scored more. And yeah, Tommy Allen, epitomised everything in terms of he's had a really tough season for multiple different reasons, injuries or whatever it might be, and he come on and he changed the momentum of the game, and he sort of, for me personally, he was someone that brought into us as a management group so well, and to see him do what he did, set up the goal at Wembley. Obviously he could have won it for us, but obviously when Deja had the headlines and the highlights, it just the whole thing was brilliant.
While the penalty shootout's going on, there's someone took a video from the crowd, and you can see the line of everyone standing down by the side, and like you say, I think because he's had snuck that many people in, stat-wise, the line was just like almost all the way down the court. Like.
Yeah, no, it was. We literally had so many different people in the on the bus, and you're only allowed a certain amount of people in, but there's just too many people that have helped get us to where we wanted to get to. It just summed up the whole of the club and everyone, the amount of people that have helped get us there. And it's not just the players, it's not just the management, it's the board, it's the staff, it's the volunteers, everyone. I genuinely loved it. I loved the whole day. I loved it when we won, because obviously winning's important, but just to see the lads enjoy themselves and reflect with each other and just enjoy what they put in for 10 months, or however long it was, and it was just such a good day. And I think the thing is, we talk about culture and we talk about processes and all that sort of stuff. The reason we do it is because of this. We want to win football games, we want to win cups, we want to get promoted, we want to get players being more successful and kicking on. And it was nice to see a lot of hard work over the last few years. Finally, with all the setbacks that we had, losing in the final last year, not making the playoffs, all coming to fruition. And when we can control things, we've been successful and we've won. We won a major competition.
Probably supporters probably won't see, but everyone's drinking out the trophy. But I think the inside of the trophy is actually a bit disgusting. I think you can see it comes up.
Yeah.
Everything's getting chucked in.
Well, we just decided that for health and safety, the more alcohol, the more it might burn off the inside of the trophy. I don't think it's been clean since it was made, but sure the lads have won. There's some jelly worms went in there as well. We have these pack of jelly worms, the kit men get in, and it's a bit of a tradition for all of them as well. So. No, look, we're quite cheesy. I'm very cheesy, and Louis very motivational, and the lads all understand that we're not robots, we're human beings. And the biggest thing for me is it's a culture where everyone needs to feel comfortable and safe. That people can be upset because they don't play, and that's part of the football process. But as long as they can enjoy each other, enjoy the environment, and hopefully they can learn and get better, then that's the controllables. The other stuff. Injuries, playing, winning, losing, you can't control that. So just it's nice to do that. And then obviously you've got got Louis' story there, who's so important for everything we do, because it's just good people, good cultures. They attract each other, and it's just great, isn't it? Like, you can see everyone there genuinely are friends, genuinely have enjoyed themselves, and that's what really matters. What really matters to me is that we've had a brilliant experience and we've won a cup, which is great. We want to keep on winning because that's our mentality, but it's about how we do it, which is so important to the group, and especially important to me, because you can win and that's it, but if there's a way to win and there's a way to develop, then that's sort of our philosophy, is that if you do it the right way, then it's worth 3-4 times than just doing it for the sake of the win.